Hey everybody, welcome to the weekend vid. Let's get started by looking at the stats. So apologies if you hear some stuff in the background, Father's Day going on, but you will see in the energies, we got leadership energies this month, 72% up, and indexes 46 and 55% up. What does that tell us? Well, it tells us, most of the market is going up this month. And that's a good thing to know. Now it's not 100%, right? Which doesn't mean we're, far away from things where you could have some retracement. And we'll talk about that with a SPY. It's a little closer to a 2-2 reversal. However, we're going to have to negate a lot of things to actually get a big puke going on. So we'll have to see what those weeklies look like. That being said, last week, 84% of the energies are trading higher. You'll see all of those went and closed green. As far as weakness, staples and utilities were down, which showed some rotation out of that, although about half of those two downs in utilities were green. Last week, most of SPY, about 60%, was 2 up. However, half of those 2 ups were red. Of the 2s down, you'll see most of the 2s down, 30% of the SPY was red. So last week, we actually had more rejections and more downtrends than things successfully trending up. In the NASDAQ, you're going to see 27% of things going down, with almost all of those closing red. And just under half of the NASDAQ that rallied last week, about 57%, closing red. So about 25% of the NASDAQ was 2 up in red, about 27% of it was 2 down in red. So we see a lot of rejections. The most rejections are in the financials. A lot of 2 up in reds there. Technologies also have a few. Healthcares also have a few. Cyclicals have a few. Industrials, materials. So we'll see if we get a lot of 2-2s next week. That being said, we'll have a lot of things to be looking at. So we're going to filter those out the best we can. The first thing we could do is, if the market's going to be weak, we would like things that have monthly signals. So we could say, a 1, or we could say a 2 up or a 1 on the month. So if we do that, we can then go inside. So we'll say, we'll remove these. We can go inside, and then we could go shooter. We could go, 3-2-2 setup. We could go 2 up in red, and we can go 2-2 reversals down. We can go rev strats to the downside. So we can look for 1, and then we can look for not anything 2 up, but anything 1 still, because these are not going up. So that gives us 230 names. So the cool thing now is we can click this button, only available to me and Sarah, but you can see, boom, gives us everything we want up there. Then we can go to the week. Oh, this is so beautiful. But then we can go to the week. We can change these filters. We can look for setups. You'll see we're looking for inside shooters. And we can then remove these filters here. Select all, select all. So we look for insides and shooters, about 200 something names we were just looking at. 109 setups there. So then we can go for, the 2 up shooter. We go 2 up red. And we'll see about 39 2 up in reds. And then we can sort by last price. And here's all, of interest to us that could trigger monthly signals. So I'm going to move this, then we'll take a look. So we go to SNPS. You'll see potentially the Rev Strat week. This is in your technologies. So SNPS, I'm going to open it. We don't have watch list yet, but it's coming very soon. I'm super excited for version 2 of the scanner. Go to charter. You'll see the shooter. And notice, since we scan things that have shooter weeks, or shooter months, or 3-2-2s, etc. If this shooter week works in charter, it's already a 3-2-2 month down. So charter, that's of interest to us as well. That tells you Liberta, which is going to be very similar. You'll see the 2 up in red week, which could cause the 2-2 reversal month off the top of this. Look up and left, you got the triangle layout, and you'll see Liberta. All-time lows is down here, so maybe they come all the way for them to the downside. If we go to CDNS, you'll see the potential for the Rev Strat week. So we'll also have that in there. W Day would be a 2-2 week pivot machine gun, which could cause a shooter month to the downside. Notice the equal lows down here. And for those of you that wonder why those may be important to some strategies, it's because it tells you have internal broadening formation. So if you have signals to break this, this is a multi-bar inside bar pattern to all this stuff on the left. So if this works on the month, we'll take all this stuff out with the weekly to cause it. We'll add that into the list as well. See TTWO. A lot of tech stuff. This would be a 1-3-2-2. So the cool thing with mother bars, you'll see we have one here. We're stuck in here on the week. Once this 3 happens, we can time the breakout of the mother bar, because if this works, 3-2-2, we'll take this out, which tells us We'll also probably take that and maybe that out. What this would cause on the month would be a 322 to the downside. If we can get closer to doing that, we'll have to see. But that's a solid weekly setup there. We'll add that to the list as well. Burl, this is in your cyclicals. Whew, quite the rev strat there to cause a shooter month. And we'll see big levels of reclaim. Again, with the relatively equal lows down here, it just shows you, you'll see all of this action here stuck inside to this and this. So targeting this would be causing the breakdown. So it's definitely one we'll be watching too. And the spreads and stuff, you'll have to do your own due diligence to see what those spreads are like. Dicks with Burl, something I want to know about as well. There used to be the shooter 2 month setting up. Nowhere near doing these big levels of reclaim to the left here. However, this would kick us into a broadening expansion with the Rev Strat 122 pivot machine gun on the week to do it. So if we get the simultaneous cyclicals break, which is your XLY, the shooter week, potentially those guys would be your weakest. Go to Reddit, not so much in Reddit. They're a little bit firmer. Jazz, healthcares. It is a PMG, no thanks. Target cyclicals. So you can see in the cyclicals, we're starting to see a trend of potential 2-2s there. Target would be the 2-2-2. This is your Randy Jackson. It's called a Randy Jackson because you get consolidation, rejection, which is your 2-3, 2-2, rev strat, and then the counter of a rev strat. And Randy Jackson liked it because he thought once you rev strat something, if you counter the rev strat, it's a really strong rejection. And the broadening formation is big enough to take these guys out. So you get all this to come through. And if that works, inside month down target definitely gives us some focus. Go to Uber. I'm going to start skipping over the names I'm not as interested in. Uber, top of the broadening formation in here, sets up 3-2-2 month with a 2-2-2 week pivot machine gun to cause it. Definitely on the focus list. That's your technology / discretionary, which is your cyclicals. BBY is going to be in your cyclicals. Again, 2-2 week to try and cause a monthly to the downside. Then we got some nobodies in here. We'll see. I'm just going to quickly scroll through Myrna and SMMT. Myrna's just been on the slow grind to 0 ever since they poisoned the whole country. Got a PMG on the week. Still much an inside month there. SMMT 2-2-2 week. Inside month 3-1-2 down. Rev stratting the quarter. Maybe a 2-go-3 year. Not sure. But we've got a decent little focus there. So SNPS, Charter, CDNS, WDay, TTWO, Burl, Dix, Target, Uber as some focus. Now, let me just take a screenshot. Make this simple so you can see all I did here is like this. Boom. And then I'm going to use ChatGPT to keep track of this list for me since it's easier, less typing. All right. Now, those are all your 2 up and reds, your rev strats, etc. Now we can look at the ones. These will be weaker than the rest of the market. I'm not sure if we'll even have any. Let's see, select all. So you can see I accidentally cleared the filters out, which is fine. So if we go back to the week, we can look for your scenario 1s, and for some reason my columns are not being saved. C1, C2, grid state, save current state. There we go. So now if we go in here, we can look just, scenario 1 on the week. I know a lot of people are watching those double insides. Here's your double insides, Pan W, XLI Industrials, Dollar General, Morgan Stanley. So there's your double inside weeks, HIMS, HIMS. Oops. Take a look here. Ooh, looks like we have a little bit of a data problem in HIMS. 2, 1. Oh, oops. I was looking at the wrong mode. Gosh, there must be. Is there a false tick in there? Nope. Airbnb? What? Oh my gosh. I'm so dumb. I put my C1 and C2 in the wrong order. All right, sorry about that. ESTC. Double inside week for those of you guys that are playing those. LIBCOHR. Double inside week. Then some randoms. FMGA, never heard of her. Yeah, it doesn't even pull up here. All right, so there's some double insides. Now let's go back to the more interesting ones, at least in my opinion. The inside week, Spotify. Momentum Hammer with a Rev Strat. Still going off the 3-2 month. DE. What the heck? Oh no, it is inside, my bad. DE inside week, still weekly mother bar, monthly mother bar, so more likely to rev strat, which gives us an idea, right? Either tick down and take all these guys out or go 3, or maybe it makes a higher low and goes 3 to these guys. Nonetheless, it's always a fun one. Crowd inside week would be with full time from continuity through on 2. Islers, ooh, Tesla inside week. You can see at this point they're making higher lows, so we go to the quarter. You'll see the inside quarter down, ticks down, reclaim rev stratting the quarter. So the weekly inside up, trying to rev strat the quarter if they wanna. Z scaler in the tech. That one's been gunning. Inside day, inside week. Dash will be an inside week. Snow. Inside day, inside week. See top of this weekly broadening formation, so that could turn into something different. Back through the try they go, maybe. Pan W, shooter day to trigger week. Doesn't have a beautiful broadening formation there for us, but you got these, some equal lows. EA Sports, it's in the game. Is it? It is in the inside month. Airbnb, you'll see the reclaim of this on the weekly with the inside week, which is interesting with the Uber. Shake Shack, potentially 2 going 3 month. Would be a weekly PMG down. These guys, inside week. Dollar General after the big push up, inside week again. Dollar Tree's inside week. What about Five Below? Inside week. So $5 Tree and Dollar General. $5 General. Dollar Tree. So that gives us a simultaneous break in the dollars. Like you got all of the, what do you want to call them? The hotels / the gambling inside weeks and shooter weeks. Hood inside week. That gets my attention in Hood because we've definitely been watching that one since the monthly reversal. CORT, which is high volatility, 3-1 week if you're interested in that type of stuff. Out of that, nothing meets the eye. Just a lot of nobodies in there. All right, so Spot, DE, Crowd, Tesla, Zscaler, Airbnb, $5 General, Dollar Tree, Hood, and Court, CORT. Those are going to be on your inside week list. Outside of that, just make sure we get that saved over here. We think, what about some 3-2-2s if we missed them? Which I honestly don't think we did. We will get to the bullish setups now. So now for the bullish setups, we're going to do the same thing. Here it is. So ideally for the bullish names, we're going to want to clear these guys out since I've already got the data saved here for us. And the cool thing is everything I'm doing here, this is going to be completely built into the scanner in the near future. Similar to, this little thing here that we get access to, we're going to be showing you guys off some of the other cool stuff we're working on, but we can look for a hammer. And I keep typing in here, think I can do comma separated. I'm going to beg the developers to make this a thing. And as always, while I'm doing this, if you guys skip to the end, you can normally get the cheat sheet. All right, hopefully developers can do that this week. That'd be cool. But let's get back in here. So we can take a look at the hammers, 2 down in green. And I'd love to be able to comma separate those, but we'll do this. So you can see about 59 names, setting up the 2-2s next week. And this is actually on the wrong thing. We want to look for monthly, 2 up or 1. Again, I can't comma separate, but we can look for 2 up or 1 on the month. And then we can go boom, then we go to the week now. And now we can look for 2 down or 1 on the week. How we want to do it, since we already looked at all the inside weeks, we'll just do 2 down and we'll go green. See what we got in here. Now, looks like it is a scenario 3, and we still are having some data discrepancies. Normally they're very small, and it could be because I was scanning on the wrong mode here. Yeah, I think I was scanning on the wrong mode. I had it in signal mode instead of setup mode. Yeah, so in setup mode, we actually have a lot more. Just give me 1 sec. All right, so in setup mode, we'll have CI, 2 down in green, which is in your healthcares, but stuck. AVGO, 2 down and very slightly green, so not as interesting. It is a 3 on the quarter, so for those of you that like playing broadening formations, here's your really big one in AVGO. If we came back through that, that would be a terrible thing for the holders there. Waste management. Shooter on the day, but what, hammer on the week. It is a 2 up on the month, so it's a little bit of conflict there. Ice. A little bit of a hammer on the week, but you'll see 2 up and red on the day. Eat. 2 down and green on the week, 2 down and green on the day, so it looks a little better. Really not much. What about the utilities? Let's see. ATO, mother bar. Let's see the inside month. AWK. 2 down green week, but a rev strat day to start the week, so meh. PNW. 2 up and red on the day, but 2 down green on the week, so just conflict. Meh. So really not many bullish setups for next week. MOS is probably one of your few that we can have in there. MOS. And MOS is materials, so 322 and MOS. Let me get. Oh no. Where did my ChatGPT go? Oh, here it is. All right. So this comes out to your list here, not including any earnings, any stuff like that. And it is, let me see, the second week of the month. So we could go and take a look at the week, the 2 up weeks to start the month and take a look at those guys. But here is your actionable signal list for the weeklies. These are going to be downside setups. And we haven't looked at the indexes yet. We will get to that. I apologize. All right. All right, so here is your setups here. Now we can take a look. This is a really cool thing that we can now do with the Strat Scanner. Whoa. Oh, I didn't know you could do that. That's so cool. Our new website's awesome. All right. So one thing that we look for is we look for stuff that's really green on the month. So we can go in here and we can go to monthly, enforce, boom, enforce. Then we can remove continuations. And we can only look for 2 up or 2 downs. So 2 up enforce, here you are. Not many, right? We can go to continuations if we want, right? But here is what we're looking at. So we'll see how up these guys are. IQV, it's up a little bit. You'd see a 3-2-2 week back down, trying to triangle out and then go the other way. So they're not looking too hot with the Momo Shooter Day. If we go to Amgen, it's going a little bit. The Shooter Day Pivot Machine Gun, which could cause a 2-2 week down after a slight higher high. So these guys aren't looking too hot either. Wow. 322 in materials MP. You can see that nice, beautiful rev strat day in here, center flying. So we got some material relative strength. AVGO we already looked at. Looks like we have a little bit of a data issue there. HQI, nothing. CELH, Celsius. We'll see the shooter week in Celsius. Maybe it ticks up first on the daily to go 3 to the downside, make that happen. MPC in the energies. There's just 2 up continuation month, which actually means it should not be on this list. Oh, because I'm on setup mode instead of signal mode. Why I keep doing that? I think it's because I'm tired. It's been a long day. Sorry about that, but let's just go enforce. Enforce, we'll go 2 up. Remove continuations. And now we have a little bit of a more favorable list. So we've got some names in here, and these will be focus names for the rest of the month. And I'll actually show you guys how we're doing this. So once we get this list, then we can remove, let's just say anything that's greater than 15% we'll keep and the rest we'll get rid of. Boom. And then we can go boom, copy this over. And then we want things that are 2 up week to start off. So I'll make sure to copy this list just so we don't lose it. When we clear the filter, which we'll have to change how that works. We go 2 up. These will be the stronger stuff to start. And you'll normally see a trend here of what's happening via your simultaneous break. So we can already see the energy sector. See how it's in orange? Most 2s up in energies. Right. So while the market's coming back, energies pretty much closed out at the highs on the week. You know, OIH, boom. Right. Did we talk about that? We did. XLE, boom. Did we talk about that? We did. XOP, boom. Right. And let me show you how we found that. So you're going to see all the energies right here take the week up, which normally means a signal on the week, like a 2-2 or inside up, just strat terminology. We said all of these have inside months too. Energy numbers tomorrow morning, 1 hour post New York Open, which is just when we'll have volatility in the energy sector. We also saw oil inside month and up. Where's that going? Up there. So we picked up on that and we said week up in all the energy. So what that means is you have a lot of evidence that's not going to reverse. So you can buy it, and unless it goes 2-2 against you, you hold it, or a 3 against you, which normally that never happens, rarely. So you'll see it went 2 up and then 2 up again, boom, they explode. Same with OIH. They bought it, came back for more, boom, it explodes. And now these all have the month up. If we go to US oil or USO, boom, monthly here. That's a pretty nice move in oil, huh? So we can see the energies for sure, and that's where we see leadership. So we'll quickly take a look. MUR in the energies. Inside month and up, you'll see the big triangle in here, the equal highs. If we go to Halliburton, not up that much, but we do see, am I losing my mind? Am I really dumb? So we want up greater than 15%. Boom. $30. Okay, so it's not tripping out. To the week, we'll go 2 up, 2 up. Why is HAL there? I guess, is it up like 15%? No. Am I stupid? The rest of these kind of make sense. SM, NOG. Yeah, so I'm so confused. There must be some type of false data going on there. I'll have to make them see. You know what? Maybe the filters. No, okay, so I think we're actually good here. Shoot, I don't have to. I'm not re-recording this video, just so you guys know. Normally I would, or I'd cut some stuff out, but I don't got the time, so you'll just have to deal with me being kind of dumb here. All right, now it looks like we're good. All right, so leaders in here, you're gonna have Oracle. Look at that. She gone with earnings. as they do. ASTS, bright green, and what you wait for is the correct activity. Let those days close red and then get it, or let the 60s close red. KLAC, nice. You see that hammer month off the bottom there? Nice stuff. We'll go to MU. Nice. So you got a few semis in there. LMND. Looks like it's shooter week, so that one might come back for the high vol list. I want to trade high volatility names. And SIG. So really that's about it on the continuation stuff. We'll see anything that went 2 down, 2 up to start the month on the weeklies. But those are going to be your strongest names that we see. Let's see. OKLO in there. So OKLO is going to be a leader this month as well. Ferg, which had some earnings. Little shooter week, but maybe a PMG day if those buyers do come back. And then NBIS, which is a 322 shooter. I actually want that one on my list, so I'm going to add that there. All right. A lot of shooters on the leaders there, so could see some decent pulling back. Now let's just go and take a look quick at the monthlies down, and then I'm going to let you guys go. And normally if you're skipping to the end, you'll get the list, so just skip a little further if you're getting to this point. But let's see. So we're going to go month, signal, we're going to go enforce, and we're going to go 2 down. We'll remove the continuations. Enforce 2 down, got it. And then we'll do a greater than or equal to. Actually want to change that's less than negative 15, negative 10. All right. Who's the biggest loser? Uh-oh, GameStop. Boom. And the cool thing is if you're with us, we actually talked about this on the earnings Wednesday. We said GameStop takes the inside week down. Where's that going? You'll see our drawing from when the earnings came out. Boom, down they go. And they had some bad news afterwards. The strat always knows, does it not? We had some traders in there last week on GameStop. PVH, which I haven't heard of, but you get Momentum Shooter. BF.B. You'll see the 2 month down. They're getting wrecked. They've been lower, so we keep going to 0. Schmuckers, SJM. With the earnings, you'll see the 2 day pivot machine gun. So we can go. Add that to the list just with some daily setups. Dust. And these are all names you can throw on your watch list and just check every night. And that's the cool thing with the strat is there's so many ways to do it. And it's just something we're doing this week to see where the leadership and the laggards are. But that's really about it. EIX and the utilities. Not having a good time. That's about it as well. But that covers it. So if you're skipping to the end here, this is what we got. Downside setups. We'll zoom it out for you. You'll see here, and you'll notice Burlington, Dick's, Target. Right, so discretionaries / consumer cyclicals. And then we'll have Charter, which tells you, like T, Verizon, Liberta, that type of stuff. And then some more cyclicals, W Day. And then some tech stuff with the Ubers also being kind of cyclicals. And then inside weeks, it's kind of a smorgasbord, but you'll see 5 DG Dollar Tree. So just drag some attention to that by grouping those. Whenever you see stuff that's related, you want to know about that because that's simultaneous break. On the upside, it's really MOS, which is your XLP sector. We'll see. The market's weak. Maybe staples come back. That's about it. But here it is. I'll see you guys bright and early Tuesday morning if you are in stat. And if you're not, see you guys in the nightly vid. Adios.